Tikulanteni pano pa Parliament Broadcasting lero lachisanu pa 21 November 2025 tsiku lopambana kwambiri mu zochitika zakuno ku nyumba ya malamulo. Limeneli ndi tsiku limene tikuyembekeza nduna yona zachuma olemekezeka a Joseph Mwanamveka MP kubwera nyumbayi nkudzapereka makamaka tsatanetsatane wa ndondomeko ya chaka chachuma theka la chaka chachuma tinene motero potengera kuti mbuyomu nyumbayi inavomereza 8.67 trillion kwacha imene ili ndondomeko ya chaka chachuma cha 2025-2026 makamaka nde statement imene akuyenera kudzapereka nyumbayi tsiku la lero olemekezeka Honorable Mwanamveka ndiyo fotokozera makamaka kuti kodi chaka chachuma chimenechi cha 2025-2026 mu ndondomeko imene inavomerezedwa ya 8.76 trillion kwacha chagwira bwanji ntchito komanso theka limene latsala la chaka chachuma zinthu ziyende motani. Nthawi yofunikira kwambiri imene inu mukuyenera kuti mukhalepo mutsatire mumve zonse mmene zikuyenera kukhalira ponena kuti ndondomeko ya chuma akamayifotokoza amakhala kuona magawo osiyanasiyana amene amakhala kuti khudza mu njira zosiyana-siyananso. Kumakhala gawo la zaumoyo, gawo la zaulimi, zamaphunziro ndi magawo enanso osiyana-siyana. Nde ine ndingopempha kuti tikhale limodzi kuti titsatire limodzi zonse mmene zingakhalire komanso mkatikati mwa tsiku la lero malinga ndi ndondomeko ya zokambirana za nyumbayi order paper tikuyembekeza kuona mafunso kuchoka kwa aphungu kupita ku maunduna osiyana-siyana. Tikuyembekezanso kuti mwina nduna yoona za achinyamata masewero ndi chikhalidwe ibwera nyumbayi nkudzafotokozerapo nayonso kuti kodi zinthu ku ndunawo zikuyenda motani. Imeneyi pa Chingerezi timati ministerial statement. Nde ndingotero kuti tikhale limodzi pamene zonse zizichitika nyumbayi titsatire kuti ziyende motani. Just to welcome you in case you're just tuning in. Today is 21st November 2025. It's a Friday, and I should welcome you to Parliament Broadcasting as we give you live coverage of the first meeting in the 52nd session of Parliament, the Media Budget Review Meeting of Parliament. My name is Linda Masinga. So today, 21st November 2025, is actually an important day in Parliament as Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Honorable Joseph Mwanamveka MP, is expected to present the 2025-2026 Media Budget Review Statement. So the crucial update on the nation's economic performance and the financial outlook for the remainder of the year not only assesses the current state of the economy, but also outlines any adjustments to government spending, revenue projections, and strategic priorities. Just to mention that the national budget being presented today, the media actually the one that's being presented today as it stands at 8.76 trillion kwacha was passed on 26th March 2025. So the statement is actually going to give us an outlook on how the first half of the financial year has taken shape, and also the remainder of the year, what are the projections that government does have. Still, following the order paper, the Minister of Finance will be coming in the House. Well, as we've said, this is in accordance to it's actually a requirement by the Public Finance Management Act that this does happen. The order paper also shows that under general business, we should expect questions on notice to ministries for oral replies. And under government business, we should expect a ministerial statement from the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture on the progress and priorities in the ministry. Also, laying at the table of statutory reports is also appearing on today's order paper. I should just urge you to stick around and let us follow everything as it unfolds in the House today. Let's keep watching.
Honorable members, Mr. Speaker!
Let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness has appointed the office of the rulers and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government, we ask you to behold with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important tasks in this land. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen.
General business, communication from the chair.
Honour members, I have a couple of announcements to make. There have been quite a number, but I think we'll just do all of them together. The first announcement is about the security checks. I wish to inform the House that it has been brought to my attention that some honourable members are not adhering to security requirements provided for under Standing Orders 91 and 92. Honourable members, Standing Orders 91 provides as follows: all members, officers of the Assembly, and any person except the President and the Vice President shall be subjected to a security check or screening before entering the presence of Parliament and the Chamber. Therefore, in terms of this rule, all of us are subjected to security checks except the President and the Vice President. In addition, Standing Order 92 prohibits honourable members from bringing any offensive weapons to the chamber, such as firearms and sharp objects as specified in Appendix 7 of our Standing Orders. In this regard, may I therefore appeal to you, honourable members, to strictly adhere to these security measures to avoid compromising the security standards of Parliament. Let me remind the House that my office is empowered under Standing Order 92B to enforce disciplinary action against any member who disobeys these security measures. The second announcement is about car parking. Honourable members, I have noted with concern that some members are parking their vehicles at wrong places, which has resulted in unnecessary congestion at such places like the pickup and drop-off point just in front of the main building, close to the main entrance. You may have noted, honourable members, that the surface at the front of the building is fast wearing out despite all efforts which are costly in having it maintained. Additionally, some honourable members are using the VIP gate and parking their vehicles at the VIP car park, which is reserved for some office holders like the Right Honourable Speaker, the Deputy Speakers, Cabinet Ministers and Deputy Ministers, the Leader of Opposition and the Parliamentary Service Commissioners, Chairpersons of committees. Further, other honour members are also parking their vehicles in the space between the main building and the cafeteria. This is also a no parking area. In view of the foregoing, I would like to give guidance and direction that the car park for honour members is situated to the right-hand side of the main building as you are facing the main gate from the main building. You are also being informed that the car park will be labelled with your constituency code numbers. The VIP gate and the VIP car park are designated for the leadership of this House, the Parliamentary Service Commissioners, Cabinet Ministers and Deputy Ministers, former Vice Presidents, former Speakers and Chairpersons of committees. The front of the building shall only be used for drop-off and pick-up services and for the parking of ambulances for emergency evacuations. In this regard, honour members, you are being reminded to use your designated car park. No honourable member of Parliament will be allowed to use any of the restricted areas as car park. Our security detail has been instructed and empowered to enforce the implementation of this directive with immediate effect, and any honourable member who disobeys this order will be disciplined accordingly by my office. Any use of derogatory, demeaning and unparliamentary words on any member of the security team or indeed any member of staff will not be condoned. It is therefore the understanding of my office that all honourable members will comply with this directive as we are striving to make Parliament a safe and secure place to discharge our noble duties of legislation, representation and oversight. The other announcement, honourable members, is about crossing the floor in the House. Honourable members, my office has noted with great concern that some members have not yet grasped the consequences of walking across the two aisles of the House. I have received reports of members moving from the opposition side to the government side and vice versa during deliberations. This conduct has the potential to make you lose your seat, honourable members, under Section 65 of the Constitution of the Republic of Malawi. My communication seeks to clarify how the seating arrangements in this House have a bearing on the constitutional principle of crossing the floor as provided under Section 65(1) of the Constitution and Standing Order 2064. Honourable members, I wish to advise you to give this communication your utmost attention, particularly in the following areas. Number one, seating arrangement in the chamber. In accordance with Standing Order 39, the seating arrangements in this House reflects the political alignment of members as follows. One, the front seats to my right-hand side are reserved for cabinet ministers and deputy ministers. The remaining seats on my right-hand side are for members belonging to governing party, the DPP, or parties in government as arranged by the leader of the House. The seats on my left-hand side are reserved for the leader of the opposition and members of the opposition parties. And independent members are allocated seats based on their alignment to either the government side or the opposition side of the House. This was already handled by my office. In this regard, when the House is conducting its deliberations, crossing the aisle to either side of the House and associating with members of other parties may be misinterpreted to be crossing the floor. This practice is always discouraged in this House because it affects the order and decorum of the House. Number two, association between seating arrangements and crossing the floor. The term crossing the floor has its origins in parliamentary practice, where a member physically moves across the chamber to take a seat with the members of another political group, usually from the government benches to the opposition benches or vice versa. Therefore, the seating arrangements reflects a member's party or political allegiance. Consequently, a change in party affiliation or alignment may lead to a change in seating position, symbolizing the act of crossing the floor. Honourable members, once such a change is verified, and if it meets the constitutional definition, my office can initiate proceedings under Standing Order 2064, leading to the possible declaration of the member's seat as vacant. In addition, constitutionally, it may lead to the loss of a parliamentary seat in accordance with Section 65(1) of the Constitution. I therefore wish to encourage you, honourable members, to regard the seating arrangements in this House very, very seriously. At this point, you should know, honourable members, that seating arrangements and party affiliation are directly linked, and a change in one's seat reflects a change in political allegiance and can have constitutional implications. Honourable members, I therefore wish to strongly advise you to desist from this conduct of crossing the floor and to adhere to the Constitution and your standing orders. Number three, maintaining order and decorum in the House. Honourable members, I wish to inform you that for the period we have been conducting our deliberations in this august House, some honourable members do not observe the rules of decorum as provided for in our standing orders. For instance, the honourable member and the chair. Let me take that again. For instance, when a member is holding the floor, no member should pass between the honourable member and the chair. If any member is found in a situation where his or her chair is located across the line between the chair and the member holding the floor, please take any of the seats behind until the member holding the floor resumes his or her seat. Then you may proceed to take your designated seat. Similarly, when leaving or entering the chamber. Finally, honourable members, please remember to bow to the chair for male members, or courtesy to the chair for female members. In so doing, we will maintain order and decorum of this House. Honourable members, this marks the end of my announcement this morning. I thank you very much for your kind attention.
General business, item B, questions on notice to ministers for oral replies.
Leader of the House.
Good morning, Right Honorable Speaker, and all honorable colleagues in this House. Today we'll start with questions to the Minister of Labour.
Thank you, Leader of the House. Let me now call upon Honorable Salima Central West. Question 18. Honorable Salima Central West. Proceed, Honorable.
Good morning, Right Honorable Speaker, and thank you so much that we can be accorded this opportunity to interact with the Honorable Minister of Labour and Innovations. Honorable Speaker, sir, it's our first time as a constituency to interact with the newly elected Honorable Minister. Allow me to congratulate him on behalf of people of Salima Central West. We are so excited because coincidentally, this is his maiden response in this House, and he also comes from Salima. We're looking forward to that soothing and good response. I therefore want to confirm that question number 18, appearing on today's order paper and standing to my name, indeed comes from the people of Salima Central West, Honorable Speaker, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Salima Central West. Honorable Minister of Labour and Innovation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. First, let me start by congratulating you for sending it into that post. And I would like to thank His Excellency.
Honourable Minister, please switch off the other one. Yes, thank you.
And I would like to thank His Excellency, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, for appointing me as the Minister of Labour, and he entrusted me to serve Malawians. I thank Lord Almighty for the opportunity that I have in this House. I would like to thank the people of Salima Central East for trusting me with this position. Mr. Speaker, sir, the question leads, could the Minister of Labour, Skills and Innovation consider constructing and equipping a community skill development center in Chitala, noting that the youth population is in need, livelihood skills in large, and the entire constituency lacks a skills development center for a technical college. Mr. Speaker, sir, first of all, I would like to thank the honorable member for Salima Central West for the question. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to inform the August House that my ministry is promoting the decentralization policy. As such, honorable members are encouraged to present their request to their respective district councils. The councils will then inform the ministry to conduct assessment on the suitable of the sites provided by recommendation to my ministry. Once this process is done and the location is deemed suitable, appropriate resources will be allocated in the next development budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to inform the honorable member that the government has a college in Salima Boma known as Lindipe Community Technical College and a community skill development at Ngozi. Therefore, I encourage the honorable member for Salima West, Central West, that the youth should, for the time being, assess the two colleges or the government plans for the community college in his constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me also remind the Honorable House that the DPP-led government is to have a community college in each and every constituency. So funds permit, each constituency will have one. Speaker, sir, I submit.
Thank you, Honorable Minister of Labor and Innovation, for that answer. Supplementary questions? I see Chukwawa West. Honorable, your constituency?
Chitipa South.
Chukwawa West and Chitipa South, in that order. And Honorable Rumpi West.
Karabe South.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for acknowledging the people of Chukwawa West to ask a supplementary question to the Minister of Labor. I would like to congratulate him on the appointment as Minister of Labor. Honorable Minister, we have a community technical college which was built 6 years ago, but there is no equipment. And the youth there are really worried because it has taken so many years for them to use this place. It's a very nice building, but unfortunately, because it's not being used, I think there are some people who are stealing things from the place. So if you can help us, the people of Chukwawa West, especially the youth from Changoima, Chitumba, and other villages, to have this college officially opened so that they can be able to learn some skills at this college. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Was that Chitipa? Chitipa South?
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for yielding the floor to the people of Chitipa South to ask to the Honorable Minister responsible for labor. But before I ask my question, let me also join my colleague from Chukwawa Central, Chukwawa West, to congratulate the new Minister for Labor. Mr. Speaker, sir, the question to the people, the question from the people of Senior Chief Ntalile, Senior Chief Mwanawenya, TA Tengatenga, TA Ntalile, and Sub-Chief Mwenekailizi, is that they want to ask the minister responsible to consider prioritizing Chitipa South when they'll be constructing technical colleges across all the constituencies in Malawi. This is so because, Mr. Speaker, sir, this constituency is very big. And the distance from the nearest constituency, which is Kasama, is very far, over 150 kilometers. So our youth from the constituency are struggling to access these skills. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you, Chitipa South. Rumpi West.
Right Honorable Speaker, sir. Thank you for according an opportunity to Rumpi West to ask a supplementary question to the new Minister of Labor. Before that, let me congratulate him for the appointment and the appointing authority for the right choice. My first request to the minister is, as he is planning, would he visit Zorokere Community Technical College in Irumpi as his maiden side trip to appreciate what is happening at Zorokere? Secondly, I would like to ask policy question. What is the policy of government in establishing technical colleges, and what structures are supposed to be there, taking into consideration the Zorokere Technical College, which was built by DPP, but it looks different from other technical schools, which has got two infrastructure buildings only. We don't have staff houses and other skills running infrastructures. I believe when he visits Zorokere, you will appreciate and let the youth know that DPP is really a caring government. Thank you.
Thank you, Rumpi West. For the sake of fairness, all the questions came from there, and the honorable member for Mchinji Northeast stood up a bit late. Let me give you a chance to also ask your question.
Thank you, Right Honorable Mr. Speaker, sir, for granting an opportunity to the people of Mchinji Northeast to ask a supplementary question to the Minister of Labor and Innovation. First of all, congratulations, my brother, for being appointed the Minister of Labor, and thank you for ably taking the question. My question, though, is about 8 to 9 years ago, the DPP government laid a foundation stone at the Chipumi Trading Center for the construction of a technical college. Years down the line, the college hasn't taken off yet. I would like to find out from you, Honorable Minister, whether the plans are there by your ministry or indeed the government of DPP to construct this technical college for the youths around the Chipumi Trading Center, Kalulu, Kanzimbi, Balitse, and others to benefit from the college. I thank you. No, I'm asking the government.
Address the chair, Honorable.
Honorable Right, Mr. Speaker, sir, we would like to find out from the minister if the plans are there to construct the technical college whose foundation stone was laid by the DPP government 7 to 8 years ago. Thank you, Right, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member, I think when asking questions, let's be direct to the question. If we start about laying stones and all that, I think it will just provoke noise, which is unnecessary. Let's ask those questions directly so the minister is able to respond. Honorable Minister of Labor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Let me start by answering the question from Mchinji West on if we have plans to construct a technical college. Most of the technical college stopped from 21 to 22. Since now, we haven't done anything. So it is our plan now that we revamp, since it was the DPP lead government that put a foundation. I'm sure we will. Yes. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me answer the question from Chigwawa West on the as of now, development budget that we have. We are now considering the 6 community technical college that are almost done. That at this development budget, we want to fix those colleges first, and then we'll come back to you. Chitipa South, Chitipa, is it Chitipa South? Chitipa South?
Yes.
Chitipa South, on the policy question, I think we have national and community. For the community, like the one we have in Ngozi, it's not necessarily mean that we need to have that beautiful structure, but if we can accommodate the equipment that we have, I think we are good to go. Because at the moment, we are looking at the nearest is, I think, is it Lumpi, whereby we are finishing the Ruara Community Technical College. For the time being, I think on the development we have so far at the moment, because these colleges are almost 80% done. When we are done with these colleges, we'll consider other colleges in the next development budget. Thank you.
Rumpi West, have you been responded?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think there have been a mixed response between Chitipa South and the Rumpi West. So the other part where I was inviting the minister to visit Zorokere, he has not responded. I think we can discuss more when he agrees to my invitation. That much he can assure the House when he is visiting the Zorokere Community Technical College.
Thank you.
Mr. Minister, sir, can you respond?
Mr. Speaker, sir, the invitation has been accepted. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, thank you. I think at your convenient time, invite the honorable member in your office for a cup of coffee so you can understand his problems very well. And you can invite each other there. That would be good. We now move to question 21. Leader, I see you standing.
Yes. Right Honorable Speaker, we now take questions under Ministry of Education, Science and Technology.
Thank you, Leader. We now move to question 24. Honorable Lilongwe Mpande. Lilongwe Mpande, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, let me congratulate you for being elected as the Speaker of our August House. I would like to confirm that the question on the order paper is really from Lilongwe Mpande constituency. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Lilongwe Mpande. Minister of Education, Science and Technology.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to respond to the question on the floor from the Honorable Member from Lilongwe Mpande. The Honorable Member would like to ask the Minister of Education, Science and Technology to consider constructing a conventional formal boarding school in Lilongwe Mpande constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to thank the Honorable Member of Parliament for Lilongwe Mpande constituency for his question. I would like to assure the Honorable Member that the vision and program of the Ministry is to increase access to secondary education in Malawi. This is why my ministry has prioritized increased number of schools with double shift increased number of streams where applicable, and constructing new community-day secondary schools, especially in remote areas. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to inform the August House that there are 5 community-day secondary schools in the honorable member's constituency. 5. Chitukula Community-day Secondary School, Ngwangwa Community-day Secondary School, Tebambalame Community-day Secondary School, Nzumazi Community-day Secondary School, and Nambuma Community-day Secondary School, which is usually above average in our country. When we made the assessment of the feeder schools, we found these to be adequate for the time being. However, my ministry remains engaged in the constituency to investigate the modalities or the necessity for creating a new secondary school that is a boarding secondary school. We will take into account issues of distance and the availability of space in the existing secondary schools to determine whether a new boarding secondary school is required in the constituency. Therefore, the honorable member must remain hopeful that his request will be considered. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you very much, Minister of Education, Science and Technology. Now let me recognize Honorable Wadada, my senior, Nkatabe.
Mzimba West.
No, it's Nkatabe Central. Nkatabe Central. Zomba North. And Lilongwe Msozi. In that order, please. We start with Nkatabe Central.
Thank you very much. Right Honorable Speaker, sir. My question to the Honorable Minister of Education is to ask the Honorable Minister the following question. Honorable Mr. Sir, the DPP government under Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika had a policy then, before we went out of government in 2019, to construct one secondary school in each one of the 193 constituencies. Honorable Mr. Sir, the 250 secondary schools, one was earmarked for Nkatabe Central, known as Kapingama Secondary School. When we lost government, Honorable Mr. Sir, the new government came in under the MCP. That secondary school was diverted. It went missing. Honorable Minister, sir, now that you are back to the ministry, can you check, Honorable Minister, sir, in your ministry, whether plans are there to construct a secondary school at Kapingama, secondary school Kapingama, the area of Sabutie Kamwadi in Nkatabe Central? Honorable Minister, I beg to move. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Nkatabe Central. Zomba North.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for according the floor to Zomba City North to ask a supplementary question to the Minister of Education. Right Honorable Speaker, during the DPP-led government, there was an initiative to construct a primary school in Chinamwali, Zomba City North. But then all these programs were halted. I had tried to ask the MCP-led government to restart the construction of this primary school. Nothing was done. So I wanted to ask the minister to consider to start again the construction of this primary school, since this area is in dire need of one. A lot of children do walk long distances to access an education facility as a primary school. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Zomba North. Lilongwe Msozi.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for giving the people of Lilongwe Msozi a chance to ask a policy question to the Minister responsible for education. Right Honourable Speaker, first let me appreciate the various construction programs that are going on under the Ministry of Education. Our constituencies are awash with school block construction and many other construction projects. But I wanted to find out through the Minister on government's policy on community contribution. There's always a requirement that when we receive, for example, school blocks in our primary schools and community-based secondary schools, there's a requirement that the community must contribute sand or must contribute quarry stone and transport for the same. I wanted to find out from the Minister if he is aware that this policy is very restrictive and a burden to the communities, because a 15-ton sand these days is an average of 200,000 kwacha, and quarry stone is between 800 and 1 million kwacha. If we're asking the communities to contribute $1 million or $2 million to a project that has come from government, it might be counterproductive and a heavy burden on the community, and they are in turn pushing it on the members of parliament. If we use the CDF, then it defeats the purpose of community contribution. And it puts us in a dilemma to start dipping in our pockets to do the community contribution on the behalf of the communities. And once you have 5, 6, 7 schools, then you can understand the dilemma for members of parliament. I wanted to find out if this policy still holds and what government is planning to do about this one, because it really burdens our communities. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Lilongwe Msozi. Minister of Education, Science and Technology.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the opportunity given to me to respond to the question from the Honourable Member of Nkata Bay Central, a veteran parliamentarian, a veteran politician, man. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me start by assuring the Honourable Member that this DPP government of Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika will build for him and his community the secondary school at Kapingama. That is the assurance that I will give the Honourable Member on the question. As to what happened to the secondary school, I can only hazard a guess. Mr. Speaker, with the American government, we were assured of 250 secondary schools. That is why...
Honour members, can I please have order on my right? There's a lot of movement.
And that is why it was possible to promise every member of parliament one school, because at that point in time, we did not have 250 secondary schools. We don't even have 250 constituencies, sorry. So it was possible to build one secondary school in each constituency. However, due to incompetence of the MCP government and other challenges, these 250 secondary schools were not completed. Only 60 secondary schools were built. The rest were withdrawn because of the challenges the American government saw in the implementation program. So this nation lost 190 secondary schools because of the manner the MCP government was managing this program. We lost those secondary schools, will never come back.
Order.
So, in conclusion to this question, I would like to assure the honorable member that notwithstanding that lapse, we are cognizant of the fact that the people of Kapingama deserve a secondary school, and the secondary school will be built. Zomba North, thank you, honorable member. Zomba City North, I think that is the best description. Honorable member, you are asking for the construction of a primary school at Chinamwali by government. This, Honorable Speaker, is a listening government. Ordinarily, primary schools are the authority obligation of the local council, and I would like to invite the honorable member to speak to Zomba District Council regarding the construction of this primary school. If there are challenges regarding the finances of Zomba District Council or Zomba City Council, as the case may be, the government will intervene depending upon the need identified for the construction of this primary school. But the honorable member, moving forward and seeing that it will be possible to access the 5 billion kwacha within the next 6 to 7 months, I would encourage him to consider education as a priority and use some of those resources for this primary school. Right Honorable Speaker, responding to the question by Lilongwe Nsozi, constituency member of parliament, asked a question on community contribution for these schools. I am puzzled that a community would be constructing 5 to 6 schools at the same time. That must be a very busy community indeed. But let me assure the honorable member that the issue of community participation has been there for a long time, and many communities are happy to participate, happy to contribute, because they are keen to have that development come into their area. And if the honorable member feels that this policy does not go in sync with modern thinking in his community, we should and find how best we can. But community participation has sort of has been the indicator of the community desiring the development and the community taking part in ownership of the development. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to assure the honorable member that the policy will be reviewed, but at this point in time, it remains in place. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I see the owner of the question you were responding to needs some clarity, or okay. Go ahead, Honorable Lilongwe Nsozi.
I'm really grateful, Speaker, for giving this chance. I just wanted to clarify because the 5-6 blocks was not for one community, but for the entire constituency, which is normal in most constituencies. But I wanted to also bring to the attention of the minister that this was introduced about it. It was easy to find sand nearby, and people would take their buckets, go to the river, proudly get the sand, bring it to the school. Because of climate change, it has become increasingly difficult to source sand around these communities. So you would expect now communities to hire a lorry and go as far as 30, 40 kilometers to fetch the same sand they used to carry on their buckets, and that's climate change issues. We also used to burn bricks, and these days you cannot use burnt bricks to construct schools. So the quarry stone, you can't just go and get quarry stone easily these days. You need to source it somewhere else. So my suggestion, perhaps, Right Honorable Speaker, would be, why can't community contribution be in form of free labor? So that the community would go to those projects and offer their labor, but burdening them with a 50 pari, which is about 1 million kwacha. A poor community is really counterproductive. So that's the background to the question I was posing to the honorable colleague regarding this policy, that it's burdening people. They are happy they've received the development, but they don't know how to do their part to have that school actualized. It needs attention, and it cannot just be let slide as it is. It's a real issue. It needs real solutions. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Lilonge Msozi. I'm sure the Minister has taken note. I see leader standing.
Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to beg that question time be curtailed in order for the Minister of Finance to present the 2025-2026 mid-year budget review statement.
Honourable members, there's a question to vary the order paper in order to allow the Minister of Finance to present the mid-year budget. Those of that opinion say aye. Those of the contrary view say no. The ayes have it, and the motion is carried.
Government business, item A, presentation of the 2025-2026 mid-year budget review statement by the Honorable Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization.
Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to present the papers standing on my name under item 3A of the order paper. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Sergeant at Arms. Honourable Minister, would you statement?
Yes, sir. Today and now.
You have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the mid-year revised estimates on the recurrent and development accounts for the year 2025-2026 national budget be referred to the Committee of the Whole House for detailed review, consideration, vote by vote, and subsequently be adopted. Introduction. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Public Finance Management Act of 2022 requires the minister responsible for finance to submit to this August House a report on budget implementation during the first half and proposed revisions expected in the second half of the financial year. I therefore call upon honorable members to constructively deliberate on the budget revisions, which I will soon outline in my speech. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to deliver my inaugural 2025-2026 mid-year budget statement to this August following my reappointment as the Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization in October 2025. I'm deeply honored by the trust His Excellency, the State President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, has placed in me to manage the economy and public finances during a period marked by deep socio-economic and fiscal struggles. I wish to assure His Excellency and this August House of my unwavering commitment to execute my duties with highest standards of integrity and above all to serve interests of all Malawians, in particular the vulnerable people. Mr. Speaker, sir, in light of the current economic challenges, the government has developed the National Economic Recovery Plan, whose objective is to stabilize the economy, restore confidence, and accelerate inclusive growth. This strategic framework outlines immediate, short-term, and medium-term measures, and this plan is in line with the Malawi 2063-year implementation plan, MIP 1, which is a strategy to achieve wealth creation and self-reliance. Mr. Speaker, sir, the National Economic Recovery Plan focuses on fiscal consolidation to create fiscal space for strategic investments in key sectors such as agriculture, tourism, mining, manufacturing, and digitalization. It also prioritizes investment in critical infrastructure and human capital development, including strengthening social protection systems to safeguard vulnerable populations and the provision of pharmaceuticals. In my statement, Mr. Speaker, sir, I will begin by outlining the macroeconomic developments observed midway through the implementation of the 2025-2026 budget. It will then report on revenue and expenditure performance, including financing of the budget deficit, as well as pressure points that will require additional resources in the revised budget. Furthermore, I will highlight the key economic and fiscal reforms currently being pursued by this administration. And finally, I will set out the revenue enhancement measures that government will implement in the second half of the 2025-2026 budget. Macroeconomic developments. Mr. Speaker, sir, the October 2025 World Economic Outlook report by the IMF states that prospects for the global economy remains subdued. The global growth is 4.3% in 2024 to 3.2% in 2025 and 3.1% in 2026, with advanced economies growing around 1.5% and emerging markets and developing economies just about 4%. Inflation is projected to continue to decline globally, though with variation across countries. Regional economic outlook. Mr. Speaker, sir, Sub-Saharan Africa's economic outlook reflects notable resilience amid a difficult global backdrop, the region continues to face uneven commodity price trends, persistently tight borrowing conditions, and a weakening global trade and aid development. Despite these headwinds, Mr. Speaker, is expected to remain 4.1% in 2025, with a slight improvement anticipated in 2026, driven by macroeconomic stabilization and reform efforts in key economies. However, this resilience remains fragile and should not be assumed as guaranteed. Macroeconomic developments in Malawi. Mr. Speaker, sir, Malawi's projected GDP growth for 2025 has been revised downwards from an estimate of 2.8% in May 2025 to 2.7% in November 2025. The slight downward revision is on account of shortage of foreign exchange and fuel, which have consequently constrained growth in some key sectors of the economy, such as manufacturing, wholesale and retail. It is also worth noting that the growth sharply under the administration of Malawi Congress Party. Mr. Speaker, sir, GDP is expected to grow by 3.8% in 2026 and 4.9% in 2027. The growth is expected to be anchored through improvements and investment in agriculture, tourism, mining, manufacturing, and digitalization. In addition, these sectors will be supported by economic enablers, which include infrastructure, transport, and energy. Further to this, Mr. Speaker, sir, the government plans to intensify export diversification and import substitution in the sectors mentioned to enhance forex availability, among other policies to be articulated in the National Economic Recovery Plan. Mr. Speaker, sir, the domestic economy is currently characterized by shortage of food, foreign exchange, which have to rising prices of goods and services. Consequently, annual inflation averaged 32.5% in 2024, with a projected decline to 28.5% in 2025 and 20.7% in 2026. The inflation has significantly increased from around 9.4% registered in 2019, thereby eroding purchasing power and increasing the cost of doing business in the country. With regards to money supply growth, Mr. Speaker, sir, the economy has experienced unprecedented expansion in money supply over the past 5 years. Although some research work has shown that inflation is not a monetary phenomenon, in Malawi, our experience is different. Excessive growth in money supply exerts enormous pressure on the exchange rate and inflation. Current level of money supply at over 50% is inflationary and a cause for concern, therefore it cannot be ignored. With regards to foreign exchange reserves, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to inform the August House that the country is experiencing low reserves worsened by premature expiration of the extended credit facility for IMF in May 2025. Along with withdrawal of aid and donor-funded programs. Furthermore, the country's narrow export base limits the country's capability to generate enough foreign exchange. Worse still, debt service obligations and commitments on strategic commodities exacerbated the pressure on foreign reserves. Mr. Speaker, sir, the other reason for low reserves accumulation is extravagant and careless behavior of the Congress Party. Can I repeat that, Mr. Speaker, sir? The other reason for low reserves accumulation is the extravagant and careless behavior of the Malawi Congress Party government in foreign travels, bloated overstaffing in embassies, purchase of high-value assets, and low absorption of donor-funded projects. Mr. Speaker, sir, government fully recognizes the vital role development partners play in supporting our national development. In this regard, the government, in collaboration with development partners, is undertaking scoping exercise to gain deeper insights into the underlying fiscal and monetary challenges to identify potential avenues for technical and financial assistance. 2025-2026 mid-year budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, as you are aware, the first half of the was presided over by the Malawi Congress Party government. The implementation of the budget was below par, with persistent revenue underperformance, cost overruns, unsustainable deficit, and high public debt service. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me now appraise this August House in detail how the budget has performed in the first half of the financial year and how we intend to move forward to correct the situation. Performance of revenue and grants. Mr. Speaker, sir, the total approved revenue and grants for the 2025-2026 financial year is 5.78 trillion. During the first half of the financial year, total revenue and grants amounted to 2.383 trillion compared to a projection of 2.711 trillion, representing a value of 1%. The lower than expected revenue collection is attributed to prevailing macroeconomic imbalances and a reduction in external grants due to slow implementation progress on various projects. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the first half of 2025-2026 financial year, domestic revenue was projected at 2.139 trillion, comprising 2.097 trillion in tax revenue and 42.6 billion in non-tax revenue. However, the actual outturn for domestic revenue during the period under review was 2.057 trillion, reflecting underperformance of 81.9 billion, which represents 3.8%. This shortfall is attributed to underperformance in tax revenue due to reduced input emanating from foreign exchange shortage. Mr. Speaker, sir, although tax revenue underperformed, I'm happy to report that non-tax revenue overperformed by 22.6%. This is on account of overperformance by departmental receipts and penalties. However, state-owned enterprises' dividends continue to underperform, as only 5.93 billion was remitted to Treasury against government's projection of 29.8 billion. Mr. Speaker, sir, the total approved provision for grants in 2025-2026 financial year is 1.143 trillion. However, the mid-year outturn for grants amounted to 325.5 billion, compared to a mid-year projection of 571.4 billion, representing a 43% shortfall. This performance is because of slow implementation progress on various projects, capacity to import construction materials as a result of shortage of foreign exchange. In addition, stringent procurement procedures, environmental and social safeguards requirements by some development partners, and inefficiency by project implementation units, PIUs, have also contributed to slow disbursement and progress on these projects. Performance of total expenditure. Mr. Speaker, sir, the total approved expenditure provision for the 2025-2026 financial year is 8.077 trillion, of which 4.244 trillion was planned for the first half of the year. This comprises 3.22 trillion in recurrent expenditures, 1.024 trillion in development expenditures. However, the immediate expenditure out 10, 4.420 trillion, representing an expenditure overrun of 175.7 billion, which is 4.1%. This was due to front-loading of certain expenditures lines in the agriculture, education, and health sectors, and the over-expenditure on wages and salaries, public debt interest, general election, and domestic finance projects. Performance of the recurrent expenditure. Mr. Speaker, sir, the major out 10 for the recurrent expenditure amounted to 3.502 trillion compared to the mid-year projection of 3.22 trillion, representing an overrun of 281.8 billion, 0.8%. Overruns were recorded across nearly all budget categories, including pensions and gratuities, interest payments, and the use of goods and services. Mr. Speaker, sir, wages and salaries overspent by 125.9 billion, representing 19% overrun of the immediate target of 661.5 billion. This is on account of massive recruitment in the security institutions and education, as well as health. In addition, the 100% increase for chiefs honoraria contributed to this cause. The ministries, departments, and agencies that significantly contributed to overrun of wages and salaries as at 30 September 2025 are as follows: district councils, Malawi Defense Force, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, and Malawi. Mr. Speaker, sir, under use of goods and services, the budget lines that overspent year are elections and general goods and services. Elections overspent by 50 billion, representing 30.7%, overrun from the approved figure of 162.9 billion to 212.9 billion by end of September 2025. On the other hand, generic goods and services registered expenditure of 489.7 billion, representing 71% utilization of the approved budget. Under this budget line, the votes that largely contributed to the overrun or over-expenditure are as follows: state residences. I would like to inform this August House that the State House spent the entire 67 billion that was allocated, and they even went and borrowed. The entire 67 billion was spent and went to borrow more. Office of the President and Cabinet, Office of the President and Cabinet also Office of the President and Cabinet also spent 100% of the media budget. I'm talking about spending the entire budget for the whole year in 6 months. Office of the Vice President, 94%, Ministry of Lands, 94%, and the National Registration Bureau, 81%.
Order, order.
Development expenditure. Performance of development expenditure. Mr. Speaker, sir, the immediate development expenditure amounted to 917.9 billion, of which 434.5 billion is domestically financed and 403.5 billion is foreign financed. This represents underperformance of 10.5%. The underperformance is emanating from foreign financed projects, which registered slow implementation progress on various projects due to their limited capacity to import construction materials. However, under domestically financed projects was 434.5 billion against a mid-year target of 305.3 billion, thereby registering an overrun or over expenditure of 129 billion, representing 42%. This was on account of inflated certificates of works on various projects, especially currency financed projects. Fiscal deficit and financing for the first half. Mr. Speaker, sir, total deficit for the first half of the 2025-2026 financial year amounted to 2.037 trillion, compared to the projection of 1.534 trillion, thereby widening the gap by 503.5 billion, representing 32.8%. This deficit, Mr. Speaker, sir, is as a result of lower than anticipated revenue collection, coupled with higher than planned expenditures during the period under review. Projection for the second half of the financial year. Mr. Speaker, sir, as the half of the financial year, I wish to present the revised financial projections that will guide budget implementation and in the months ahead until March 2026. Mr. Speaker, sir, the total revenue and grants are projected at 3.0378 trillion for the second half, broken down as 2.420 trillion, this is for domestic revenue, and 6.57.5 billion on grants. Domestic revenue comprises of 2.323 trillion tax revenue and 97.3 billion on tax revenue. As you will notice, the amount of 3.078 trillion to be collected in the second half is higher than 2.383 trillion, which was collected in of the financial year. The higher projection in the second half is as a result of expected implementation of revenue measures and improved disbursements. Mr. Speaker, sir, total expenditure is projected at 4.169 trillion for the second half, broken down as 3.161 trillion recurrent expenditure and 1.008 trillion as development expenditure. Recurrent expenditure comprises compensation of employees amounting to 871.6 billion, public debt to interest amounting to 1.260 trillion, use of goods and services amounting to 385.4 billion, grants amounting to 247.2 billion, and social benefits amounting to 388.5 billion, and other expenses at 8.1 billion. Mr. Speaker, sir, the development expenditure consists of 707 billion for foreign finance projects. This is development part 1, and 235.7 billion for domestically financed projects. This is development part 2. In the second half of the financial year, Mr. Speaker, sir, the fiscal deficit is projected at 1.091 trillion, which will be financed by foreign financing amounting to 107.1 billion and domestic financing of 984.3 billion. Revised 2025-2026 budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, against the background of the first half budget performance outlined above, there are 2025-2026 budget is revised by 512.6 billion from 8.077 trillion to 8.58. The upward revision is intended to accommodate budgetary pressures, including wages and salaries, amounting to 98.5 billion, public debt interest amounting to 100 billion, generic goods and services amounting to 20.5 billion, procurement of drugs amounting to 17.1 billion, elections amounting to 50 billion, maize purchase, logistics amounting to 20 billion, pensions and gratuities amounting to 196.0 billion, and FISIP, I repeat, FISIP, amounting to 129.6 billion, domestically financed projects, including constituency development fund, and the 36 new constituencies amounting to 91.7 billion. And also introduction of free primary and secondary education for the second term, and also the money examination fees. Revised fiscal deficit to the end of fiscal year. Mr. Speaker, sir, total deficit to the end of financial year is projected to amount to 3.128 trillion, compared to approved budget deficit of 2.498 trillion, and hence widening by 630.2 billion, representing 25.2%. This deficit is as a result of higher than planned expenditures during the second half of the financial year. It must be noted that some of the expenditures that have increased the deficit are the one-off payments, such as clearing the backlog for pensions and gratuities, elections, and going forward, it is government's expectation that ceteris paribus, the deficit will substantially be reduced. Performance of key sectors. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm now duty-bound to inform this August House of the performance of key sectors in the first half of the fiscal year and how we intend to improve MDA's performance in the second half. Agriculture sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me inform you that the government is committed to invest in the agriculture sector as the backbone of the country's economy. As you might have already observed in the media, the new administration has increased the number of beneficiaries under Farm Input Subsidy Program, FISIP, from the initial amount that was planned by MCP that for 528,000, we have increased it to 1,100,000 beneficiaries. Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir. Government will continue promoting investment in irrigation development and infrastructure to reduce dependence on rain-fed agriculture. In this regard, irrigation capacity will expand through flagship programs such as the Shire Valley Transformation Program, the Agriculture Infrastructure and Youth Agribusiness Project, the Malawi Watershed Services Improvement Project, and the Agriculture Commercialization Project, aimed at strengthening climate resilience and reducing agriculture vulnerability. Education sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, the government has introduced a free primary and session where general purpose fund and school development fees have been abolished, effective 1st January 2026. This is done This is done to improve literacy levels, increase enrollment, and also increase retention. In addition, manable examination fees have been abolished for both primary and secondary schools. The above incentives will require 32.5 billion for the last quarter of 2025-2026 fiscal year. This demonstrates that DPP, Democratic Progressive Party's commitment to deliver on its manifesto and promises. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to confirm to this august House that unlike his predecessor, His Excellency, the President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, delivers what he promises, and he promises what he can deliver. Mr. Speaker, sir, to ensure that the Mberwa University project is completed, His Excellency, the President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, has designated the second Vice President, Right Honorable Enoch Chihana, to oversee this particular project. On health sector, Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to address pharmaceutical challenges in health facilities, the budget, additional 17.1 billion, consisting of 8.6 billion for central hospitals and 8.5 billion for these hospitals, has been provided. In addition, government will explore other avenues of financing the health sector. Mining. Mr. Speaker, sir, the government recognizes the mining sector as a key pillar for Malawi's economic growth and diversification. During the period under review, the sector made notable progress. A total of 122 licenses were issued across various categories, which will be reviewed, or, where possible, to be in line with the new administration's policies, alongside the finalization of 11 subsidiary regulations and also upgrading the mining cadastral system into an online portal. Speaker, sir, the Kairekera uranium mine was also successfully commissioned under a new mine development agreement between government and the Lotus Resources Limited. The renegotiation and the operationalization of this mine under the new agreement demonstrates renewed investor confidence in Malawi's mining sector. Digitalization. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to emphasize the crucial role of digital transformation in our country's development. In light of this, government has designated the Minister of Information and Communication Technology as the central coordinator of all ICT initiatives, in line with MIP1, with a focus on cost-effectiveness. To accelerate this transformation, free primary programs will be implemented, the Digital Malawi Acceleration Project, the Inclusive Digital Transformation for Malawi, and the Last Mile Activity Project. These initiatives have a common goal of expanding access, bridging connectivity gaps, and also empowering all Malawians to actively participate in the digital economy. Disaster management affairs. Mr. Speaker, sir, government recognizes the importance of disaster risk reduction, response, recovery, and resilience. In this regard, His Excellency, the President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, has designated the Right Honorable Vice President, Justice Dr. Jenny Ansah, SC, retired, to be responsible for disaster management affairs and effective delivery. Food security. Mr. Speaker, sir, following the declaration of national disaster in all districts by His Excellency, the President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, I would like to sincerely acknowledge the support provided by our development partners towards the purchase and provision of food assistance, including means for the affected households. I would like to assure Malawians, particularly the vulnerable, that the government of Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika will make sure that they have food and that no one dies of hunger. In addition, Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to recognize the commendable support from our local commercial banks and financial institutions that contributed towards men's purchases. These include first discount, first FDH Bank, First Capital Bank, National Bank of Malawi, Nico Holdings, NBS Bank, and Standard Bank. Public debt management. Mr. Speaker, sir, moving forward, let me management of public debt is a priority for this new administration. This comes on the back of high and sustainable debt levels and high borrowing costs that have led to high debt service. Mr. Speaker, sir, Malawi's public debt is in excess of 21.6 trillion. I repeat, Malawi's public debt is in excess of 21.6 trillion, equivalent to 86% of GDP, against 4.1 trillion in 2019. Meaning that in Malawi Kwacha terms, the MCP government multiplied public debt by 5 times in a period of 5 years. Devaluation has always been there.
Order. Order, members, order. Order. Order.
These high debt levels requires a combination of measures or a cocktail of measures and strategies to turn the debt trajectory. It is for this reason that the new administration, under Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, is undertaking fiscal reforms to restore debt sustainability. Not only will the government continue with the debt restructuring negotiations, but it will also pursue fiscal consolidation, concession of borrowing, and improved oversight on state-owned enterprises. Mr. Speaker, sir, on external debt restructuring, official agreements with all bilateral creditors were reached. 2 agreements were signed this year with the Kuwait Fund and Saudi Fund for Development. The government continues to engage the commercial creditors on the restructuring terms. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is a known fact that the debt situation that the MCP administration left is very high and unsustainable, thereby taking up a significant portion of budget resources, hence restricting the government's ability to invest in other productive areas. This administration situation is man-made by the Malawi Congress Party due to mismanagement, lack of fiscal discipline, and arrogance. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm saying arrogance because advice was given. The civil society had advised, the bishops had advised, but this government never listened. Therefore, improved debt management coupled with fiscal discipline and reforms is pertinent and the government is committed to addressing the root causes of this debt situation. Fiscal discipline. Fiscal discipline. As part of our commitment to public debt management, and fiscal discipline, government is implementing reforms, including strict expenditure controls, measures such as minimizing travel, limiting procurement of high-valued assets, and also managing the wage bill. In addition to minimize the gap between the revenue and the expenditure requirements, government will also fully adopt the cash budgeting approach that strictly aligns funding with available resources rather than projected cash flows. Mr. Speaker, sir, as we stand today, the government's wage bill has grown significantly, resulting in taking up almost 40% of the country's domestic revenue. In this regard, as already announced by the Office of the President and Cabinet, government has on new recruitments, except for key sectors, which will be done on case-by-case basis. The moratorium will be longer for MDAs, which had massive recruitments. You may wish to know, Mr. Speaker, sir, that it was surprising that most of the people that have been in the civil service, they were employed by OPC. It always pleased the chief secretary, not the president. It always pleased the chief secretary to recruit officers and chief executives in parastatals. Government will also conduct payroll audits. Government will also conduct payroll audit and head count. Repeat this. Can I repeat? Government is also going to conduct payroll audit and head count for all public servants starting from 9th of December 2025. Therefore, all public required to present themselves physically for the hard count and submit all their relevant documentation and qualification. The following are the detailed expenditure control measures as announced by government. External travel by senior public officers. To control the drain of foreign exchange, reserves and reduce expenditure, travel by cabinet ministers, deputy ministers, controlling officers, chief executive officers, and senior management of statutory corporations, heads of public institutions, and all public are limited to 3 trips per annum after seeking approval from the relevant authority. All controlling officers of MDAs. I need protection, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Honourable members, can we let our Minister of Finance do his job? Minister of Sports, make sure Minister of Finance has water there. Please.
All controlling officers of MDAs, heads of CSEOs, which are statutory corporations, chairpersons, board members, and executive management will, if you need an economy class. Procurement of motor, I need to repeat that one, I think it's very important so that everyone knows what we're talking about. All controlling officers of MDAs, heads of statutory corporations, chairpersons, board members, and executive management will, with immediate effect on the economic class. Procurement of motor vehicles. Procurement of motor vehicles. Government has put a moratorium on the procurement of new vehicles and high-value assets until further notice. On special cases, controlling officers are advised to seek approval from the Office of the President and Cabinet. Exceptions will apply under agreed work plans and programs. Recruitment. Recruitments have been suspended, including established posts until further notice. On a case-by-case basis, recruitment in essential and critical government services will be considered. Promotions. Promotion for officers from grades F and below will require prior authority from Treasury and Department of Human Resources Management and Development, RMD, to verify availability of funds. Promotions made without this approval will be rendered invalid. The payroll. All controlling officers are being reminded to personally verify and approve all payroll submissions made to DHRMD. This is the Department of Human Resources. Meetings. Ministries, departments, and agencies, or MDAs, are encouraged to hold physical meetings, office premises, and conduct virtual meetings, conferences, workshops, body meetings, interviews, shortlisting exercise, procurement, negotiations, and any other activities to save resources on travel. Size of delegations. The Chief Secretary to Government shall determine and approve the number and the composition of delegations traveling outside the country for any other government-prioritized trips. In cases where the travel is donor-funded, there will be no government expenditure in the form of any top-up allowances towards such travel. Procurement. According to the Public Finance Management Act 2022, it is illegal to commit government where there is no resources. And accordingly, all MDAs will be required services based on quarterly allotments provided by Treasury. Suppliers will be required to supply their goods or services only when they have received an IFMIS-generated local purchase order. All goods and services supplied without a system-generated LPO will not be paid by government. Payments will be made only upon delivery of goods and services, meaning there will be no advance payments for goods and services. Extrabudgetary requests. Extrabudgetary requests are not allowed and shall not be entertained by Treasury, except in special cases. MDA's expenditures will be restricted to the approved budget provision. Fuel entitlement. Fuel entitlement for public officers, including ministers, deputy ministers, and senior government officials, shall be reduced by 30% with immediate effect. Mineral contracts. Government will review all mining licenses and contracts. Any mining licenses which have been idle for more than 5 years shall be revoked. And staff in embassies. Staffing in embassies. Government will reduce number of embassies and staff. Each embassy shall not have more than 5 officials, including the ambassador and high commissioner. Public sector on public finance management. Mr. Speaker, sir, my ministry through Department of Accountant General will continue to build on the gains registered in the implementation of SAP-based IFMIS. One of the major activities for the current fiscal year is the activation of the Human Capital Development and the Payroll module. This module will replace the current software in the Human Resource Management, HRMIS, aiming to decisively address issues such as ghost workers and inflated wage bill. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to strengthen financial and non-financial performance, the government is implementing a comprehensive SOE reform agenda that will see improvement in the liquidity management, debt monitoring, and the revenue collection efficiency. Additionally, all statutory corporations will be required to implement performance-based contracts for boards and management governance. Furthermore, all non-performing chief executives, I repeat, for all non-performing chief executives with perpetual losses will have their contracts and benefits reviewed and where possible action taken. Mr. Speaker, sir, all statutory corporations fulfill their mandate and statutory obligations to contribute to the national revenue envelope through consistent and timely dividend remittance. Government will continue to strengthen oversight roles, enforce compliance, and promote reforms that will enhance the financial health and governance of statutory corporations. Through these efforts, we shall transform statutory corporations into financially viable, accountable, and value-creating enterprises that contribute meaningfully to the economic growth and fiscal resilience of Malawi. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have noted that most of our statutory corporations that are providing utility services, such as water, electricity, and fuel, are making huge losses, thereby exerting pressure on the national budget. Therefore, in order to address this challenge and to mitigate the associated risks, government will ensure that cost-reflective pricing is adhered to and that the statutory corporation services in the most efficient manner. Fiscal decentralization. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency the President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, is committed to ensure significant growth and development at constituency level across the country. In this regard, the Democratic Progressive Party promise of 5 billion allocation to each constituency will be implemented from 1st April 2026. You agree with me that this will be a game changer for our nation, as substantial amounts of resources will move from central government to local authorities. Government will develop the Constituency Development Fund guidelines, which will stipulate the implementation modalities and reporting frameworks. Reforms to build foreign exchange. Mr. Speaker, sir, this country has a lot of minerals. One of the high potential mineral is gold. I would like to applaud the stance taken by His Excellency the President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, in banning exportation of raw minerals. This directive will allow the country to beneficiate its minerals. Meanwhile, government has directed the Reserve Bank of Malawi to scale up gold purchase program and also monetize the purchased gold in order to improve the country's foreign exchange reserves. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to refer to the State of the Nation address in the August House by His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika. Government will create a sovereign wealth fund to ensure that proceeds from the mineral exports benefit Malawians. In addition, government will also comprehensively review all minerals license, as I've said earlier on. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to reduce smuggling of agricultural produce, government will establish commodity market exchange, COMEX, to facilitate the trading of all our agricultural commodities through transparent and formal structured markets. Mr. Speaker, sir, with immediate effect, government that all accommodation expenses by foreign tourists should be paid in foreign currency. With immediate effect, Mr. Speaker, sir, I repeat that government has directed that all accommodation expenses paid by foreign tourists should be paid in foreign currency. In order to facilitate this, all tourist operators should receive a foreign exchange dealing license from the Reserve Bank of Malawi. Mr. Speaker, sir, the government is putting up necessary measures to incentivize domestic production and encourage import substitution. This is aimed at reducing the country's import bill, and Malawi, as of now, is importing almost everything, and there's an urgent need to substitute some of these imports. Foreign exchange repatriation, Mr. Speaker, sir, exporters are currently allowed of 120 days, within which they must provide proof of receipt of their export process. This period, Mr. Speaker, sir, is too long for a country with short supply of foreign exchange. In order to improve supply of foreign exchange, government has therefore reduced this period to 90 days, effective immediately. Mr. Speaker, sir, on diaspora remittances, government will immediately banks to reduce the paperwork in opening the diaspora accounts, and also demarcate land for diaspora cities, and facilitate online transactions to reduce their cost of banking. Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, the government shall also immediately designate a diaspora desk at the Malawi Investment and Trade Center, MITC, to coordinate and resolve all other outstanding issues that affect diaspora effective participation in domestic economic activity. Mr. Speaker, sir, one of the contentious issues is export process.
Can I have order, members? Members.
Mr. Speaker, sir, one of the contentious issues is the export process repatriation and the surrender requirements. Government has directed that if the exporter has import bills to meet, those bills will first be deducted from the export process, and the surrender 25% will be applicable only to the balance. I'm saying this is very, very important to people out there. On foreign exchange licenses, on foreign exchange dealing licenses, Mr. Speaker, sir, government has also directed that all licenses shall be renewed subject to successful completion of fit and proper tests of the chief executives, officers, foreign exchange dealers, and staff. Mr. Speaker, sir, government is also banning all short-term foreign exchange derivative market until sound regulatory framework has been put in place. There is a detectable practice. There is a detectable practice in the banking system which has pushed foreign exchange transactions to the derivative market, particularly on forwards and options. So with immediate effect, Mr. Speaker, sir, I repeat, all forwards and options have been banned. Mr. Speaker, sir, government has also put in place measures to ensure that foreign exchange that is due to the country through foreign exchange and shipping companies is duly enhanced and accounted for. Mr. Speaker, sir, as earlier indicated, inflation remains very high at 28.5% in 2025. Fiscal and supply side intervention will be implemented to ease inflation. In this regard, monetary policy rate will be maintained at appropriate levels that balance price increases and the country's growth aspiration. In terms of dealing with high currency in circulation, this local currency in circulation, government will going to limit cash withdrawals, both on the counter and the point of sale. These are ATMs and all the point of sales, and in order to promote electronic transfers. Revenue enhancement measures. Revenue enhancement measures. Mr. Speaker, sir, I now turn to the tax revenue measures. Can I be heard in silence? I now turn to the tax and non-tax revenue measures that government intends to implement for the remainder of the year and beyond. These measures have been instituted to stabilize public finances and in order to rebuild this fiscal space. Mr. Speaker, sir, before I present these measures, allow me to reiterate what I've said before. Assumed office, we found an economy in an exceptionally fragile state. The Malawi Congress Party government left behind an economy characterized by unsustainable debt, chronic fiscal deficit, depleted foreign exchange reserves, and a loss of investor confidence. Furthermore, finances were in disarray, revenues were stagnant, and key sectors were neglected. The kwacha had sharply depreciated against major trading currencies, and inflation had eroded household incomes. The fiscal space has effectively been closed, leaving government unable to meet even the most basic obligations without resorting to borrowing. It is within this challenging context, Mr. Speaker, sir, has been compelled to take decisive action, not out of choice, but out of need, in order to restore stability, rebuild credibility, and place Malawi on a sustainable path of growth. Consequently, I would like to implore my fellow members of parliament, my fellow economists and experts, religious organizations, NGOs, civil society, the private sector, and all citizenry to support the measures I'm about to announce to secure a more resilient and prosperous Malawi. Allow me, Mr. Speaker, sir, to outline the proposed tax and non-tax measures. Income tax. Income tax. This is on bank transfer levy. Mr. Speaker, sir, government is introducing a modest 0.05% bank transfer levy to be applied on all bank transfers within or across banks and will be paid by the sender. Government is introducing a modest 0.05% bank transfer levy to be applied on all bank transfers, both within and across banks, and will be paid by the sender. Introduction of mobile. Mr. Speaker, sir, government will listen first. Government will introduce a 0.05% levy to be applied on transaction amounting on mobile money transfers of above 100,000 to be paid by the sender. This limit has been applied to ensure that the low-income earners are protected. The August House may wish to know that this levy exists in many countries in Africa, including our neighbor Zambia, in Uganda, Zimbabwe, just to mention but a few. Money transfer transaction. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, sir, to above, to promote electronic transfers, government has with immediate effect revised limits on cash outs, mobile money transactions, and mobile money holdings as follows. Mobile money transaction limits and cash outs limits have been increased from 750 a day to 5 million per day. And from 750 per day, respectively. And the holding limit for the wallet, this is for the wallet, for individuals have been raised from 1 million to 5 million. And for merchant accounts, both the wallet holding limit and the daily mobile money transaction limit have been increased from 25 to 50 million. The idea is to move the money through electronic transfers, not by cashing out the money. Mr. Speaker, sir, government is also adjusting the pay-as-you-earn Government is adjusting the payee structure as follows. The zero rate threshold increases from the 150 to 170,000, thereby shielding the low income earners. The zero rate threshold increases from a monthly income of 150 to 170,000, thereby shielding the low income earners. And also the 25% bracket has been removed. The 30% apply on monthly incomes between 170,000 to 1.57 million kwacha. The 35% will now apply to monthly incomes from 1.57 to 10 million. And the new 40% rate will apply to monthly incomes above 10 million per month. Speaker, sir, continuing with the philosophy of ensuring that those, Mr. Speaker, sir, continuing with the philosophy of ensuring that those who earn more must contribute more, the threshold for supernormal profits for companies will be reduced from 10 billion to 5 billion. This means company profits below 5 billion will continue to be taxed at 30%, while profits of 5 billion, while profits of over 5 billion will be taxed at 40%. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to broaden the tax base, in order to widen the tax base, and also to raise additional revenue, the following measures will be implemented. The 100,000 and 500,000 thresholds for applying withholding tax on lottery winnings are removed. meaning that all winnings will now be taxed. The 100,000 and 500,000 thresholds for applying withholding tax on betting and lottery winnings are removed, meaning that all winnings will now be taxed. The withholding tax rate for gambling will now increase from 10% to 15%. Excise tax applicable on gross lottery revenues will be fully enforced, especially for radio stations and television stations. Mr. Speaker, sir, government has also observed that some countries or some companies perpetually declare losses and they continue to operate. To ensure fairness, a minimum alternate tax, MAT, of 0.5% on turnover is being introduced. Companies will pay either normal corporate tax levied at 30% on profit or 0.5% of turnover, whichever is higher. To protect startups and small enterprises, the minimum alternative tax will apply only to companies with turnover of more than 5 billion that have been operating for more than 3 years. Furthermore, whatever amount is paid above the minimum alternative tax will be treated as a credit or an advance to offset the future tax obligations. Mr. Speaker, sir, previously capital gains tax on shares than 1 year was not being applied. However, trading in shares has now become a significant income-generating activity for most companies and individuals. To ensure fairness, capital gains tax will now apply on all share disposals, regardless of how long they have been held. Mr. Speaker, sir, I observed that many residential property owners, particularly in cities of Nzuzu, Lilongwe, Zomba, and Blantyre, they do collect rental income without paying taxes. Mr. Speaker, sir, as you are aware, there is withholding tax on rental income. However, due to implementation challenges, residential property owners have not been remitting the tax to Malawi Revenue Authority, while most commercial properties owners have been compliant. Consequently, Mr. Speaker, sir, government has directed the Malawi Revenue Authority to immediately enforce collection of rental income tax on residential properties, including a comprehensive registration of excise, let me take that one, including comprehensive registration excise of landlords, because we need to know who is the landlord. To ensure that this directive is also followed without delay, I would like to
Order, members. Order.
I would like to request ESCOM, all water boards, Malawi Housing Corporation, the city councils, the Ministry of Lands to cooperate in providing the necessary information pertaining to the owners of residential properties in the low density areas. Mr. Speaker, sir, government is reinstating, can I repeat this? Government is reinstating the surcharge on the importation of cement at the rate of 20%. VAT measures, VAT. Mr. Speaker, sir, to strengthen revenue mobilization and ensure that the fiscal deficit is reduced in the medium term, government has also reviewed the VAT rate. In doing so, government took into account or consideration the VAT rates in other countries such as Madagascar, Morocco, and many others, which is at 20%, and Tanzania, which is at 18%. Accordingly, government adjusted the Malawi VAT rate from 16.5% to 17.5%, thereby reverting to the rate that prevailed when VAT was being introduced in the country. Administrative measures. Administrative measures. Government has noted with great concern. Government has noted with great concern the increased tenders. Government has noted with great concern the increasing tenders by many shop owners and businesses to avoid issuing VAT receipts when customers purchase goods and services. I wish to inform this August House and the general public that government will apply heavy penalty against any shop owner or business found not issuing VAT receipts on their sales and services. Mr. Speaker, sir, government has also noted the growing number of requests from government ministries, departments and agencies, parastatals, non-governmental organizations seeking tax waivers on their procurement. I wish to emphasize that government operates on tax-inclusive budget. In this vein, unless a tax waiver request relates to a donation or donor-funded project or procurement, such requests from MDAs will not be allowed. Non-tax revenue. Mr. Speaker, as tax reforms announced, government will implement the following non-tax measures. Motor Vehicle Accident Fund. Motor Vehicle Accident Fund. I want to say this because it has been said in this August House that there are so many accidents, particularly those in the motorcycles. And because of that, the Ministry of Health is under pressure. A level rate of 2% on motor vehicle insurance. Those that are insured, a levy will be collected at the rate of 2% on motor vehicle insurance that will be ring-fenced to provide additional financing to the Ministry of Health. This money goes straight to the Ministry of Health in order to address that particular challenge. Free access to Malawi. This August House may recall that the Ministry of Tourism had revoked all visas. People coming to Malawi, almost 79 countries, they were coming here visa-free. So from now on, and with immediate effect, visa applications will apply on a reciprocity basis. What they charge us is what we charge them. You get it? I still, can I repeat, because this is very important? I have said, Order. Visa-free access to Malawi is being revoked with immediate effect, and the visa application fee will apply on a reciprocity basis. What they charge us is what we charge them. Revenue remittance. Government will strictly enforce remittance of revenue collection by ministries, departments, and agencies, and all proceeds from asset disposal, is boarding off motor vehicles, should be deposited with the Ministry of Finance Treasury. Dividends and surplus remittance. Government will, with immediate effect, strictly enforce the remittance of dividend and surplus from statutory corporations. Conclusion. Mr. Speaker, sir, I humbly invite the August House to take note of the immediate performance of the 2025-2026 budget and consider and deliberate on the revised budget estimates for the 2025-26 financial year as detailed in Annex 1, 2, and 3 of the 2025 mid-year budget review. I still want to this August House and all Malawians that we are sailing in turbulent waters. And it requires determined decision by Malawians. It's a choice by Malawians. If you really want your country to go back on a positive trajectory, and that government should be able to provide the much needed services in the midst of health hospitals, in the schools. It requires for us and every Malawian to contribute. Furthermore, the House is also requested to approve the proposed amendments to selected votes as presented. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Honourable members, let me have your attention. Let me have your attention. First of all, let me thank the Honourable Minister of Finance for delivering and presenting a budget that I have seen both sides stand up to clap hands for. It shows how serious you are, Minister of Finance, and as Parliament, we will support you in order that you implement your budget. If there's need for Parliament intervention, we are here for you. Thank you for that well-presented budget. Honourable members, Leader of the House, your guidance, please.
Right Honourable Speaker, let me also join you in congratulating the Minister of Finance for delivering a budget that will jumpstart this economy, this ailing economy. So, Minister, congratulations. That said, we will have to go on an early adjournment so that we allow members to have a look at the budget. Obviously, Monday, the opposition will respond. Let us give them adequate time to look at the figures and respond on Monday. Otherwise, Right Honourable Speaker, let's have a great weekend. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Before I formally move the motion for an early adjournment, let me also remind honourable members that this afternoon there's a function that is being hosted by the Minister of Gender, where the Vice President will be in attendance. Let us, let us patronize the event I now therefore beg to move that the House do adjourn early to allow members to have a look at the budget. I beg to move.
Honourable members, thank you. Thank you. Let me have your attention. Before we move the motion to adjourn the House, I have a few announcements to make. One is to announce that we have visitors in the gallery from Honourable Lilongwe Demera. Honourable Lilongwe Demera, please stand. And our visitors from Lilongwe Demera, Honourable Changanamuno's visitors, please stand. Welcome to Parliament. You may wave at your MP. Thank you for coming. You're most welcome. You may take your seat. Honourable members, we also have visitors from my second home, Doha East. Let me ask the Member of Parliament for Doha East to stand, and our members from Doha East, our visitors, to also stand. Doha East. Doha East. Thank you very much, our students. We wish you all the best in your studies. Thank you, Honourable East, for bringing our students. Honourable members, the other announcement, firstly, is about the distribution of the statement which has been delivered by the Honourable Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization. Members are requested to remain in the House to receive copies of mid-year budget review statement. The second announcement is on the elections of chairpersons and vice chairpersons of parliamentary committees. I wish to inform the House that the following parliamentary committees have since conducted elections of chairpersons and vice chairpersons. Agriculture and Irrigation. Chairperson, Honourable Anthony Kamoto. Congratulations. Vice Chairperson, Honourable Chikondi Chisale. Congrats. 2, budget. Honourable members, for the sake of decorum, I think those hugs, we can do them in the corridors. 2, budget committee. Chairperson, Honourable Sosten Gwengwe. Congratulations. Vice Chair, Honourable Emile Chintu Piri. Congrats. 3, commissions, statutory corporations, and state enterprises. Honourable members, can I ask for order, please, on my right? Can we please take our seats? 3, commissions, statutory corporations, and state enterprises. Chairperson, Honorable Sylvester Ayuba James. Vice Chair, Honorable John Jackson Bamusi. Congratulations. Education, Science, and Technology. Chairperson, Honorable Mutani Tambala. Congrats. Vice Chair, Honorable Professor Gordon Chizimba Nsirimba. Government Assurances and Public Sector Reforms. Chairperson, Honorable Samuel Kawale. Vice Chair, Honorable Juliana Kaduya. Health Committee, Chairperson, Honorable Anthony Masamba. Vice Chair, Honorable Maureen Nseula Chirwa. Industry Trade, Gilbert Konyongwa. Vice Chair, Honorable Gift Nankuni. Local Authorities and Rural Development. Chairperson, Honorable Edward Chileka Banda. Vice Chair, Honorable Jacob Ntambalika. Honorable, are you standing? Minister of Defense, please take your seat. Thank you. Media and Information Technology. Media and Information Technology. Chairperson, Honorable Kingwell Lipuka. Vice Chair, Honorable Rita Sanga. Natural Resources, Energy and Climate Change. Chairperson, Honorable Tiaone Henry. Vice Chair, Honorable Yona Adadawiza Mkandawire. Public Appointments. Chairperson, Honorable Felix Njawara. Vice Chair, Honorable Tulinje Muluzi.
Point of order.
Public appointments, sorry, let me take that again. Public appointments, Chair, Honorable Felix Njawara. Vice Chair, Honorable Joshua Marango. Public Accounts. Chairperson, Honorable Baba Malondera. Vice Chair, Honorable Tulinje Muluzi. Social and Community Affairs. Chairperson, Honorable Servo Kafafa. Vice Chair, Honorable Maureen Namwali. Transport and Public Infrastructure. Chairperson, Honorable Dumisani Lindani. Vice Chair, Honorable Lincoln Dixon Liwonde. Okay. Honourable members, we are remaining with the Defence Committee and International Relations, which will be meeting later on to finalize the elections. And Women Caucus as well. You're saying something on Women Caucus? Women Caucus was already announced. We already have leadership at the Women Caucus. Honourable members, I wish to extend my sincere congratulations to you on your election as chairpersons and vice chairpersons of the parliamentary committees. Your election is a clear reflection of the confidence that your fellow members of parliament have in your leadership, integrity, and commitment to public service. As you assume these important roles, I encourage you to uphold the highest standards of professionalism and diligence in the execution of your duties. The nation looks to your committees to provide robust and objective oversight over the executive arm of government, ensuring transparency, accountability, and effective implementation of national policies and programs. Your leadership will be instrumental in strengthening Parliament's oversight mandate and advancing good governance. I wish you every success as you undertake this important responsibility. Thirdly, I wish to inform all members of parliamentary committees on international relations to immediately meet after adjournment to elect their chairperson and vice chairperson. The meeting will take place in room 257. Finally, the Minister of Gender, Children, Disability and Social Welfare is inviting all honourable members to the inauguration of the 2025 Malawi Council for Disability Affairs, MACODA, Flag Week, to be presided over by the Right Honourable Justice Dr. Jane Ansah, SCJA retired, Vice President of the Republic of Malawi, which will be held today, Friday, 21st November 2025 from 1 o'clock. Your attendance and support to this noble cause will be greatly appreciated. I thank you for your attention. Honourable members, I now put the question. The question is to allow the House to have an early adjournment in order for members to prepare for the afternoon event and also to start looking at the mid-year budget. Those of that opinion say aye. Those of the contrary view say no. The ayes have it and the motion is carried. I therefore adjourn the House to Monday. What date is Monday? Monday, 24th November at 2 o'clock. House adjourned.
Well, that was the Minister of Finance, Economic Affairs, Honorable Joseph Mwanamveka MP, presenting the 2025-2026 mid-year budget review statement. We can say that the national budget has been revised upwards to 8.59 trillion kwacha, with an increase by 512.6 billion kwacha. That is coming from the approved budget of 8.077 trillion kwacha, giving us roughly a 6.3% increase if we do calculations right there. Now, the increase by 512.6 billion kwacha is coming in to allow the Ministry of Finance to be able to cover a number of issues, a number of areas that the country deems really important. Wages and salaries is one of them, giving us a figure of 98.5 billion kwacha. A higher cost in the health sector, including the procurement of drugs, pegged at 17.1 billion kwacha. We are looking at the CDF with the introduction of 36 new constituencies at 91.7 billion kwacha. AIP, 129.6 billion kwacha, just to list among other things that the Ministry of Finance sought deem that the 5.12.6 billion kwacha is being justified. Now, looking at the total deficit by the end of the 2025-2026 financial year, according to the Ministry of Finance, it is currently going to be at 3.128 trillion kwacha. And his projections for the second half of the financial year shows that government plans to use 4.1 trillion kwacha and expected to collect about 3 trillion kwacha with a fiscal deficit of 1.16 trillion kwacha. A number of changes that the budget is seeing at mid-year review. One of them is the revision of the VAT, value-added tax, from 16.5% to 17.5%. Also, government has introduced a non-tax revenue. This is the motor vehicle accident fund, just to mention a few. We will give you more from the statement that the minister presented in the House when we give you a recap or a highlight of what actually transpired in the House later on. And after this mid-year presentation, we expect to get reactions from the House as well. So members of Parliament are going to be engaged in the discussions coming from Monday, 24th of November, 2025. Before that, we also saw the House with the taking two questions to two ministries. That's honorable members, that's from Ministry of Labor and Innovation, as well as Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. These two ministries took questions from members of Parliament. The questions came from members representing the following constituencies: that's Salima Central West, Lilongwe Mpande, and Zomba City North, among others. Well, the Speaker has also today announced the chairpersons of parliamentary committees. The constitution of the committees was announced in the House yesterday. So after the announcement of the House, when the House was adjourned, the various committees went to elect chairpersons of their committees as well, though about 2 or 3 committees are yet to finalize the exercise of electing their chairpersons for committees so they can start performing their oversight role in the committees. At this moment, the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Samir Gafar Suleiman MP, has adjourned the House to Monday, 24th of November, 2025. Mwachidule tingonena kuti ndi mmene zayendera kuno ku Nyumba ya Malamulo olemekezeka a Joseph Mwanamveka amene ali nduna yoona za chuma kupereka ripoti la theka loyamba la chaka cha chuma cha boma makamaka 2025-2026. Makamaka imene kunali kuunika kuti kodi chaka cha chuma chayenda bwanji kuchoka pa nthawi imene nyumbayi inavomereza ndondomeko ya chumayi 8.077 trillion kwacha kufika lero pamene mwina tinene kuti boma likupenekera kapena kukonza kuti kodi ndondomeko ya chumayi iyenda bwanji mu theka lachiwiri lomwe lasala. Tsono powunikira theka loyamba la chuma cha boma, anduna afotokoza zakukweza kwa ndalama zofunika kugwiritsa ntchito makamaka budget imeneyi kuchoka pa imene inavomerezedwa pa 26 March 2025 yomwe ili 8.077 trillion kwacha kufika pa 8.59 trillion kwacha. Izi ndikamba kuti boma lidachita masamu laonjezera ndithu ndalama zokwana 512.6 billion kwacha zimene zili ndi ntchito zina ndi zina zimene iwo anaona kuti zikufunika kutero. Mongotchulapo zina mwa izo ndi makamaka malipiro anthu ogwira ntchito mboma amene pakadali pano iwo mmene amaunika chuma cha boma anaona kuti pakuyenera kuonjezera 98.5 billion kwacha. Palinso ntchito yofuna kuthandizira ku nthambi ya zaumoyo health sector kumeneku mwachidule tinene kuti ntchito yogula mankhwala mzipatala za boma imeneyi ayika pa 17.1 billion kwacha kuti ndi ndalama zimene zingafunike kugwira ntchito imeneyo. Kumbali ya CDF Constituency Development Fund potengera kuti chiwerengero cha aphungu nyumbayi khangati chaonjezereka kuchoka pa namba imene nalipo apati khozonena kuti pali ma constituency 36 amene ali atsopano. Nde kunkhani ya CDF pakufunika 91.7 billion kwacha imene boma linaona kuti ilifunika kwambiri kuti aonjezere ku ntchito imeneyi imenenso ikuthandizira kuti masamu akaonkhesedwa afike pa 512.6 billion kwacha imene yapezeka kuti yaonjezera ku budget. Nkhani ya zipangizo za ulimi zotsika mtengo AIP kapena Farm Input Subsidy Program monga ena timadziwira kapena timakondera kutchula, ntchito imeneyi boma laona kuti ifunika ndalama zoonjezera 129.6 billion kwacha zimene zikuthandizirabe kuti akaonkhesa masamu zifike pa 512.6 billion kwacha monga mmene achitira. Kuona chuma chimenechi mmene chakhalira boma likuona kuti pofika kutha kwa chaka cha chuma cha boma 2025-2026 ndalama zimene zingakhale kuti mwina zikuperewera ndi 3.128 trillion kwacha zimene pali ndithu ndondomeko zosiyanasiyana zimene boma kudzera mu nduna wa chuma akonza kapena akhazikisa pofuna kuti zoterozo mwina zikonzedwe monse mofunika kusokerera musokereredwe kuti chuma chiyende bwinobwino. Pakadali pano malinga ndi nduna ya zachumayi anafotokoza ndithu kuti ngongole dziko lino pano patafika izafika titero pa 21 trillion kwacha zomwe zikuchititsabe kuti unduna wawo ukhale pansi ndi kuyamba kuona kuti kodi dziko lino lingachite motani kuti mwina ngongole imeneyi isapitirire kukwera kapena angachite motani kuti ndalamayi ikhale ikunkanatsika. Pali zina ndithu zimene budget imeneyi theka la chuma kapena kuunika kwa ndondomeko ya chaka cha chuma monga achitira nduna yoona za chuma nyumbayi lero tikuona kuti ndalama msonkho uja timati VAT kapena value added tax timakhala ndi tikumaona tikamagula zinthu m'mashopu kuti unali pa 16.5% kapena tingotero, koma pakadali pano ndalama imeneyi kapena msonkho umenewu tsopano aukweza kufika pa 17.5%. Komanso mu ndondomeko yomweyi mwabweranso nkhani imene mwina yokhuza imene pa Chingerezi akuti non-tax revenue imene ndiyokhudza thumba lothandizira ku ngozi zimene zimachitika pansewu imene akuti motor vehicle accident fund. Mwachidule tingotero koma tinena kuti nthawi ina pamene tikhale tikupasirane zonse zimene zinachitika nyumbayi mobwereza kuti mwina munaphonyana nazo inu mukhale pompo kuti mutsatire zonse kuti kodi nduna ya zachuma yafotokozanji mu nyumba ya malamulo zomwe zithandize ino zithandize ine kuti tikhale tikudziwa kuti kodi chuma cha boma kapena ndondomeko ya chuma cha boma ikuyenda motani. Koma zisanachitike zimenezi tinaona ndithu kuti nyumbayi munachitika monga ndondomeko ya zokambirana za lero inakambidwa munali ndithu mafunso kupita kwa maunduna osiyanasiyana komanso ntchito zina zimene zinachitika kummawaku kumene kuti tifikako koma mongo kwangula kuti kodi theka la chaka chachuma mmene afotokozera nduna nyumbayi apa tiyembekezere kuti sabata yamawa tikhale tikuona nyumbayi aphungu akunkanakambirana kuti kodi zinthuzi zayenda motani kuyambira Monday lolemba pa 24 November 2025. Kumawa kumungananena maunduna awiri ndamene anayankha mafunso umenewo ndi unduna ona za ntchito komanso unduna wa za maphunziro, sayansi ndi luso la makono. Ena mwa aphungu amene anayafunsa mafunso kupita kwa ndunazi ndi aphungu monga kuchokera ku dera la Salima Central West litero, Lilongwe Mphande komanso Zomba City North. Apanso tinene kuti zokambirana za aphungu nyumbayi tsopano malinga ndi speaker a nyumbayi olemekezeka Samir Gafar Suleiman MP aziyimitsa kufikira lolemba pa 24 November 2025 nthawi ya 2 koloko masana. Inu ndipempha kuti muzakhale pomwepo pa nthawiyo komanso tsiku la lero pitirizani kuonera zambiri zimene tili nazo pano pa Parliament Broadcasting. Munali ndine Linda Masinga, tsiku labwino.